Okay, hello everybody. My name is Povishya Sarajanya. I am today going to be presenting about my self-learned topic, which is n8n. It's pronounced n8n, which is a workflow automation tool that has been growing for quite a while and seems to be a new star for many people, but it actually has been there for some time. Not longer than Zapier or Make, but it's becoming popular widely in the developer community because of how friendly it is to the developers and how easy it is you can manage your very own data without having a hassle roadblocks sometimes like other competitors. So yeah, I'm going to be showing you the main objects. Sorry, it's kind of like the flagship features of this. It's just to connect APIs together. Like you can connect services like maybe you want to connect from Google Sheets or Google Drive, the Google Docs, and maybe send those other data to other places on the services, or process them first in n8n and then just send them to other APIs like Twitter or Facebook or maybe even Line messaging app. They do have that integration. And yeah, what it does is automate workflows. So every time you do something you want to do, like you just don't want to do it again. You do something poorly a lot, you do it too much, and then it's just kind of the same thing. You don't want to spend your time on doing something again and again. You don't want to repeat yourself, so you can automate that. And you can do this without even knowledge of coding, or sometimes if you're a coder or a developer already, you can fall back to coding with JavaScript or Python. I do have native support on that. So yeah, the model for this, what's the catch, right? So first of all, it's open source, so it's kind of like free, I guess. It's open source and self-hostable, so that means that you can always self-host an instance of n8n, which is pretty cool. But it also has a cloud-based is kind of like have a lot more features. No, no, not a lot of features, but more features that support your other use case like enterprise, security, and things like that. So they define themselves as more like an open core than open source. Like open core means like having just core functionalities being open source, and other things that you need like integrations with external secrets, or with you know, SAML or single sign-on, and it needs to be paid. So yeah, devs gotta find a way to get money, I guess. And next up, we got the features of it. So first of all, it's a node graph based wheel. So pretty much in most of the application, they use this kind of wheel, which is good. And node graph pretty much helps us visualize more of where the data is going to be at. So if you're familiar with something like automation system like Node-RED or Zapier or Make, pretty much it's just the same. And they both having over 400 integrations as of recording. Uh, they are so there are official integrations into the application. Might not be too much of a streamlined ones, but it does, it's kind of like finishes job. It allows you to complete your job, I guess. And then we have robust data control. One of the main prominent features of n8n is that the way that you can manipulate data into your own will. You can merge, you can split, you can loop the data, you can filter, and even having AI support for LLM, which is native to n8n development. And then we got some use cases for a student engineer. Like student engineer can, do something like monitor GitHub events. Maybe their repositories can have new issues or pull requests, and they can send those data to maybe Discord or group chat. And next up, you can do something like automating the forms for events, activities, and more. Sometimes you want to create a complex system for, like Google Forms. But Google Forms does not allow that. What it allows you to do is just put into your Google Sheets and then continue working on that, which sometimes you don't want to manipulate data in just Google Sheets, right? You want to like maybe spread the data out to other sheets. Well, n8n can do that. Or maybe just create a personal chatbot with a domain knowledge. So you can turn n8n into RAG chatbot. Yeah, using LLM. And of course, we need to talk about competitors. which is Make and Savior. Kind of similar. It's gotten to the point where the features are just too similar, and but yeah, the prominent thing is that, but who owns what, right? So it's similar, but who owns what? Make and Savior owns the platform. They are individual companies, so they are owning that platform. They're not open sourced. Everything you do stays in there. So, like I said, maybe sometimes the service got compromised or personal data got leaked. It's up to the companies to figure it out for themselves. And yeah, how much does it cost, right? So it costs. So Make and Savior has like a subscription based already plan, monthly costs, things like that, or annually. So it's pretty much kind of not a way to do so, if you're asking me. But for N8N, N8N, it's free. You have open source core. You can just use that for free. You can host it on your machine, and it's very easy to do so. All you need is just Docker, right? Just use Docker, and then here's the command: Docker run -p, expose the port 5678, and then the Docker image right there. And then you can just ready to go into your localhost 5678, and there we go. You have your very own n8n instance. And you can further reference the documentation for further customizations or unlocking more potential features, because it requires a little bit more setup, to be honest. But for starters, this is really perfect already. Okay, so now we're going to be we're going to be demonstrating on how to use n8n, and maybe giving you a little bit of ideas on what's to come. Okay, now let's get to the part where we're going to be showing you on how n8n actually works. So let's get started. On here, this is the dashboard. When you go in here for the very first time, it would not look like this. It would look like you need to start from scratch, or you want to explore some features. But in this case, I have workflows already prepared so that we can just really get into it, dive into it, and get ready. So first of all, this is the basic workflow. Pretty basic. So we got two types of nodes right here. We got triggers and we got actions. Triggers always the start. Triggers are always the start of the workflow. So there are two types of triggers right here, but there actually are more types of triggers. So in a way that you want to add stuff, you can just come here and click on right here, plus, or you can press tab on your keyboard, and then you can add stuff, right? So for triggers, if you already have one already in the workflow, you need to come here, and there we go. So we have trigger manually. This is it. Trigger manually. You want to click test workflow, so it will work like that. And we got on app event. So for the app event, there's a lot of integrations, like I said, right? So for example, there are something that you might know, like Facebook trigger, okay? And there's GitHub, there's GitLab, there's also Google Calendar, Google Drive, whatever. And yeah, there's so many triggers that you can use. Or maybe you want to make it like a cron job. So it's a scheduler coming in. So a scheduler kind of like runs the flow every day, hour, where you can define your custom interval. And we got webhook call, which is this one. What a webhook does is kind of like you expose a path in the URL, and then you need to fire your request into that URL, and it would trigger. And then we have on form submission, which kind of like you create a web form inside of n8n, which comes later. I'm going to show you that. Or also we got executed by another workflow, which is used when you want to have like a hierarchy of workflows that you want to construct together. Or chat message, so you want to chat with an AI bot. This uses with AI nodes. And there's also lots of more ways. Email trigger, error workflows, or when a file system change, or when you have MCP, if you have a model context protocol, you can use this. Or there are some events of n8n that you can listen to. And there are SSE events. Whoops. Okay. So this is like the main UI right here. You not just you can add notes, you can also add sticky notes like comments. And I guess that's the UI. So we got triggers right here, okay? And there's actions. So let's go through the actions too. We got lots of categories in actions. Or something like advanced AI, you want to use AI nodes. Or maybe you want to just use some actions in the application, like posting stuff, getting data, whatever. There's a lot of integrations, like I said. And there's data transformation, where you can edit the data, return from actions or from other operations. There's flow, if you want to do some branching of the workflow, or you want to do conditionals. There's core, allowing you to interact with primitive actions, for example, like running JavaScript or Python code, or making HTTP request. There's even human in the loop for sometimes if you want to kind of like just send a message to a human and wait for response. If you want to do something like that, you can do it that too. So it's kind of pretty cool. Like you have like a workflow that awaits a response from the user, right? So I'm not gonna go that much. I'm just gonna stick with the four nodes here. So I already explained this. This is test workflow. It does nothing much. When you click on it, you go inside, there's nothing much, but you can kind of like just go and test it. So click on here, it's going to work and it's going to flow through the lines. So you see the lines right here. It's going to go flow like this. Webhooks. So in a webhook, you specify the URL you want, the path of the webhook, and then how the data should be, or what kind of data you want. And yeah, it's going to go through this, go through GitHub, go through the other nodes. So we can just look at the GitHub node here. This is an action node. So what GitHub does is that we can specify what type of resource the API GitHub is, or you can do a custom API call. And then we want to select the operation of the resource. So I get the data single repository. And there we go. Put in the owner and the name. And let's try. So when you hit test workflow, you can see that we got 3 check marks. It means that the flow is executed. And in here, when it's executed, you can see the output. Here's the output of the ID, the everything, the objects that are conformed to GitHub API. Click here to restart. And another field right here is edit fields. One of the I think one of the data transformation. You want to edit fields or set the fields of the data. So you can just get the field that you want and then kind of like filter out the other fields. Let me show you. So test the workflow. And there we go. So in the edit field, you can see, oh, there's the input and the output. You can see that it's better. Now let's try adding something inside. Maybe we want to change something. I want to change this one. So we can just drag and drop. There we go. Pretty cool. And maybe you want to know how much stars we have, right? So we can also do that. We can just drag and drop stargazers, drag and drop, and we can even rename the fields. Test step, boom. Really cool, right? This is just one of the actions that you can do, one of the workflows that you can do. And also you can try using Webhook. So let's start testing the Webhook. So I'm just gonna call this. So when I do this, when I paste, there we go. It also gives us back the JSON. Really cool. All right, for the next workflow, we're gonna go with something like we're going to do some exercise a little bit. So I have a incomplete workflow right here. I want to create a workflow that obtains the repository stats from GitHub and create a Google Sheet containing information on repositories. So in here, let me explain quickly. So in here, when we test workflow, we are going to send the signal to get repositories of a user, which is me, and I want to return all the repositories I ever had. And then we can sort by using creation date. So you just get the key from the response from here and just sort it. kind of easy. You can sort the data right here. And then we also want to create a sheet. Just create a new spreadsheet. So I already created a spreadsheet, so I don't want to create again. What we can do is just when we kind of like execute this thing, we can just pin the data. So next time it won't execute this thing really, but the data still gets sent to other nodes. Pretty cool. And also this one, I'm just gonna take the ID. Everything else is not required for me. And then I just merge two of these data together. So I'm gonna show you what happens right now. So the workflow is done. I tested the workflow, and here's how it looks. The input, we got two of the different inputs together. We got input 1 and 2. Input 1 is a really big list of 60 items. Input 2 is just this spreadsheet ID. I combine the two datasets together to create something. So I just do cross join between of the two. And then you can see that the spreadsheet ID goes into every single item. Now, what we want to do next is we want to just filter only the data we wanted, right? And while also we want to have that spreadsheet ID. So what we're going to do here is to just manipulate edit fields like so. We're going to do manual mapping because we can just drag and drop. So let's drag and drop. We're going to drag the name of the item, change the key to something else because it's better. And then we wanted, maybe we wanted the URL first. The owner, I don't think we need that. Right. Now next up, oh, it's not the owner, so it actually needs to be something else. It must be here. HTML URL like so. Okay. Next up, we want a description. Now sometimes the description can be null, and we don't want something strange to happen, so we can do a JavaScript expression like so. Next up, we want it. Let's see. We might want it created, updated at. So just call it updated. And then we can kind of format this better way. So we can just do today time first and then dot format. And then we'll just do a very easy formatting like so. Let's see, what do we have more? We have stars. Stars are pretty cool. And I guess that's it, right? And also don't forget that we need a spreadsheet ID. Just put that back, pop that back in, and there we go, it's done. All right, next up, let's see now how it looks. So in this, you can see that the data is better, looking cool. Okay, next up, we just want to put all the things into the spreadsheet. So what we're gonna do is that we're gonna be doing an action in app, and then just type in sheets. We want to append row in sheet. Sheet with a document, append row. We want the document by the ID. And then the sheet. Well, the sheet is repositories. So there's no columns. That's okay. We could just do map automatically to initialize that. We want to do minimize API calls, so Google won't be furious at us, and handling extra fields and input. So apparently we don't have like the schema for the spreadsheet yet. So doing this, we want to insert new columns, so it works kind of fine, right? So now let's just fire all the things right here. So test workflow. We wait for a while. There's screen, it's done. Now let's take a look at our Google Sheets. And there we go. Every single thing, there we go, it's done. We got every single project into our Google Sheets. Okay, now that's number 2, right? Pretty cool. You can see now what it can do, right? There's more. we want to talk about AI. AI is a big thing. And what a better way to just say about the n8n, the AI, right? So you can create a trigger called when chat message receive. So when the chat message is received, okay, you see, you've got a new session. It's going to be calling the AI. But before that, let me hide chat. Let me just take a look a little bit at this very big node. This is another type of node called agent. So an agent allows you to connect to a chat LLM model, and then allows you to, do various stuff. For example, I connected this to my old Llama chat model, which is using Gemma free. And by the way, some of the services requires you to create credential. So when creating credential, you can add like secret keys or API tokens or in here. Okay, so now let's take a look more into the AI agent. So the prompt, we have connected chat trigger node. So for the source of the prompt, or you can just define using JS expression, but I'm going to do this. Okay, because we want the chat input. We don't need any specific output format. Just let n8n do the job. And yeah, we can add a memory, simple memory, like add the chat history to your browser. That's it. And the cool part about this, let me show you later. First of all, let me open the chat, and then let's ask something. Hello, how are you? So you can see AI is currently running, and yeah, I'm currently also running LLM on my machine, so it's gonna take some time to load the model. There we go. I am fine, thank you. How can I help? Okay, really cool. We just got ourselves the first AI tool. Yeah. Okay. Now let's do something real cool. Because AI agent has access to something called tools, this is something that the AI can refer to whenever it requires helping, needs to gather more knowledge. LLM has been kind of like miserable in calculating number. So let's try to see what is 5 times 9 divide by 3. So let's go and ask calculator, what is the answer? And there we go. So kind of like the it have something like this strange that's correct thing. I think it's because of the model. Yeah, I think it's because of the model. It's kind of like the chat is responding to the model somehow. So into the tool somehow, and the model is kind of, you know, because it's a weaker model than most of the things that you see like ChatGPT or Claude, and so it doesn't have that really good presence of what it actually is replying to. But yeah, you can also do something like who is the um who is the current? No, not the current. Who is the, let's see here. Who is the monarch of England during the 20th century? So asking some factual question. It's gonna, oh, I think we found some caveat. Somehow it tries to, no, it's not trying to go for the calculator somehow. Um, hmm. Well, the chat does really good factual thing, but sometimes it's going to go fetch Wikipedia for help. But also, yeah, I also got this another tool that is not quite working well. But let me try it again anyways. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Okay, so what this tool is just a HTTP request to get a random inspirational quote. Let me just refresh the entire context so the AI doesn't get too blurs. Can you give me an inspirational quote? So I use this kind of like API here that has this contains the Q and the A, and yeah, we just kind of try to see if it works or not. So we can just do something like this. Just gets the random inspiration of what? Yeah, it does not work. I don't really understand why, but okay. Here's the thing. Inside of the log here, you can see that the tool responds something like this, but somehow chat tries to respond to the tool too. I don't know why, but it happens. So sometimes it's not that reliable. If you're using weaker model, you should be using some other models. Like let's see here. Um, there are a lot of models that you can use. Language models. There we go. There's Anthropic. There's DeepSeek. There's also Gemini. There's also OpenAI already. Or maybe if you want to advance AI chain, you can use OpenRouter. Yeah, there's also ChatGPT and stuff like that you can use. But all in all, pretty good example, I guess, for how you can use AI agents inside of n8n, which goes to the last workflow I want to show you. Is a bigger AI agent thing. So I'm just gonna say that this is an integration between the n8n web form generator. So what it does is that it just takes the user. Let me see here. So we're testing workflow here. There's a bug report, right? So there's gonna be testing like bug behaviors. What is that? How the bug occurs? What is the device you have, right? So those properties are going to be put into the test right here. They're going to be put into the integration. It's going to be calling to the get recent issues and map with each other. So it's going to combine the form data with the recent issues, kind of like seeing that, hey, we have some issues on the repositories already. Let's see how it can be relevant with each other. And then if there's a data, we're just going to go through with the AI agent, helping us to, kind of like summarize. So I got my prompt right here, really big prompt. So it's kind of like summarizing the title for a bug report, the bug behavior that users reported. And we want to see how relevant the bug is. And yeah, we just kind of like just using LLM to the fullest to help us. It's not going to be accurate because, of course, the model is bad, but I think it works quite fine for me. Yeah. And then we also want to parse the output, so you can actually use output parser to make a schema-based output, so that it will kind of like enforce the AI to need to output looking like this, right? So you can define schema for that. And lastly, it will create a new issue in GitHub. So right now, let's see. This is the repository. Got some of the issues going on. Okay, so now let's test the workflow. I'm going to enter a bug while scrolling through the feed. I think the application offsets itself weirdly, and I encountered an unexpected error. Okay, using in iOS, for example. So everything goes through the chain. You can see that we got some of the issues going on, and the IA chain is just talking with the thing, and might be relevant to what, and then it just pastes the new issue. Let's see, and boom, there we go. Might be relevant to number 3. Yeah, kind of like slow feed, or maybe screen glitch or something like that. Could be relevancy. So yeah, pretty cool, right? I guess that's that's it for the n8n experiment that I want to show you. Hope you guys got some ideas on how we can use this in daily lives, or maybe in some kind of like your own sandbox or your home lab that you can automate stuff. Actually, there is a lot more things that I haven't shown. Like, for example, this thing has community nodes where you can add nodes that are not in here, to further enhance their things, and they have a developer API that allow you to do other stuff. So pretty cool in my mind. Yeah, so I guess that's it for today. Thank you very much.